Inshallah, before we get back into our lesson today, I just want to highlight a few ayahs of the Quran whereby we would have touched on some of these um, wordings in the last couple of sessions or so. So inshallah, while we wait for others to join, right? Looking at a few ayahs of the Quran. I have the references here on screen, right? In Surah Baqarah, chapter number 2, verse 1 and 2, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is just part of the ayah, it's a long ayah. So this part, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو شَيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. All right, so you see here in this ayah of the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَاتَّبَعُوا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَى مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. And they followed what the shaitans chanted of sorcery in the reign of Sulaiman. Ala mulki Sulaiman. And then Allah says, وَمَا كَفَرَ. So we will see this in the lesson we're coming up to here. All right. We mentioned this before, and just to highlight it again. Ma here, all right, the word ma, the particle ma, has different uses. One of it is to ask what. Ma hadha, what is this? All right. Another use of ma is to negate a statement. All right. To negate a statement. So you have the statement kafara Sulaimanu. Kafara means to disbelieve or to hide or to cover up. And that's the verb, and the doer of the verb is Sulaimanu, Prophet Sulaiman. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ma kafara Sulaimanu. That Sulaiman did not perform kufr, did not perform kufr. He was not an unbeliever. وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا. But the shayateen, the devils, they disbelieved. Right? So we see here, this is evidence also that this the people who follow the shayateen, the devils, the jinn, in terms of what they were teaching, in terms of sorcery, then that is kufr. So they're saying here that some people follow the shayateen and they would have gone into the sorcery. And then Allah clarified, وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ. And Sulaiman did not disbelieve. So he didn't just say Sulaiman did not learn the sorcery, but he said Sulaiman did not disbelieve. وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ. Indicating clearly what? That following sorcery and magic and these things is part of kufr, part of disbelief. So you see here the word or the particle ma negates what comes after it. Right? So this is one of the uses, one of the forms of the particle ma. Right? Ma kafara, he did not disbelieve. Another example, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah Al-Dhariyat, right? Notice verse, of course you know this verse. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. And I have not created the jinn and the mankind except for ibadah, to worship him, to serve him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we see here again the verb khalaqa, which means to create, okay, to create. So let's forget this here. Khalaqa, and this is the first person past tense form. Khalaqa tu, khalaqa tu. I created. Who is saying that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, okay? I created. But the ma come before it to negate it. Okay? وَمَا خَلَقَتُ الْجِنَّ. And I did not create jinn وَالْإِنسَ and mankind إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. Meaning what? I did not create the jinn and the mankind for any other purpose except for ibadah, to worship him, to worship Allah. So we see again here, ma negates this verb coming after it. All right. Another example in Surah 93, Surah Abduha. Right. You all would be familiar with this surah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. Right? Your Lord has not forsaken you. So the word wadda'a means to abandon or to leave off something, right? So wadda'aka, he abandoned you or forsaken you, right? So here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala negates that by putting the ma in front of it. So he said what? Ma wadda'aka. He did not abandon you. Did not forsake you. Also, we know many places in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, or at least a few places, Ma aghna anhu maluhu. Or a similar version to that, right? Ma aghna. Ghani, the Ghani person is the rich person, or the independent person, or the self-sufficient person. Okay? So that's Ghani, al-Ghani. Right? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ma aghna anhu maluhu. So that his wealth would not make him sufficient, or would not be sufficient, or would not make him independent. This is on the day of judgment. Okay? Ma aghna. So again, the same ma is being used here. All right, so those are 3 examples with respect to that. I have a couple of examples here with respect to, we would have done this last week, or I believe maybe week before, where we join 2 particles, and ma. So the same ma, but in this case, it has the meaning of what, All right? So ma could also mean what. So it could be a particle to negate a statement, or it could mean, it could be a question, or it could be like in this case, a relative pronoun, what. So here we have the particle an, ein, fatha, nun, sukun, an. Join that to the ma. You have an, ma. So what do we get? Am, ma. The nun and the mim are merged. They are merged in writing. So it become one word, or one particle. So amma. Now remember we said once we merge the ma with any other particle, it loses its aleph. So there's no 2 beats there, there's only 1 beat. Single fatha. So it's amma. Okay? Amma yatasa'alun. This is Surah An-Naba. First surah in the last juz. Then we have another example from Surah Ghashiyah. This was 84. Surah Ghashiyah. Sorry, not Ghashiyah. Surah Tariq. Surah Tariq. Right. فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Again, you have the word or the particle min, mim, kasra, nun, min. Okay, min. And then you have the ma, what. So from what? From what? So you join the min and the ma, you get mimma, short vowel. See that there? Short vowel. فَلْيَنْظُرِ الْإِنسَانُ مِمَّا خُلِقَ. Not 2 beats, 1 beat. But the origin of it is ma with 2 beats. So be careful when you recite in the Quran that we don't make it long. Right? So just 2 examples for this particular case here. Right? Amma and mimma. Okay? Good. So now we switch back over to our lesson. Chapter. Sorry, let me just share the screen here. Right. So we are on lesson 10. So as usual, we're going to read it through. And inshallah, if you all can read after me. All right. Oops. Right. So read after me. Ad-darsul ashiru. الدرس العاشر ذهب زكريا ذهب زكريا لزيارة حامد ذهب زكريا لزيارة حامد بعد صلاة الفجر. Again. ذهب زكريا لزيارة حامد بعد صلاة الفجر ولكنه ما وجده في البيت. All right, so you all see the ma being used here. This ma negates what comes after it, okay? Ma wajada. Wajada means to find, okay? He found something, right? So, and then you have the who at the end, meaning him or it. Him or it. So you say, wajadahu, he found it, or he found him. Okay? Third person masculine singular. But then we put the ma in front of it, we get what? Ma wajadahu. He did not find him. So let's go through. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. The intention is to read the whole thing and then we'll go through piece by piece, inshallah. Just wanted to highlight that part. ولكنه ما وجده في البيت فقال لابنه موسى أين أبوك؟ موسى ذهب إلى السوق. ذهب إلى السوق. زكريا أيذهب إلى السوق كل يوم؟ أيذهب إلى السوق كل يوم؟ موسى نعم يذهب دائما إلى السوق. نعم يذهب دائما إلى السوق بعد صلاة الفجر. Again. نعم يذهب دائما إلى السوق بعد صلاة الفجر. يذهب. نعم يذهب دائما إلى السوق بعد صلاة الفجر. زكريا متى يرجع من السوق؟ متى يرجع من السوق؟ موسى يرجع في الساعة السابعة. يرجع في الساعة السابعة. وأحيانا في الساعة الثامنة. وأحيانا في الساعة الثامنة. زكريا ماذا يفعل في البيت؟ ماذا يفعل في البيت؟ موسى يقرأ الصحف ويسمع الأخبار من الإذاعة. Again. يقرأ الصحف ويسمع الأخبار من الإذاعة. زكريا متى يذهب إلى المصنع؟ متى يذهب إلى المصنع؟ موسى يذهب في الساعة 9:30. يذهب في الساعة 9:30. زكريا ومتى يرجع من هناك؟ ومتى يرجع من هناك؟ موسى يرجع في الساعة 1:30 أو 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 الثانية. Right, so you have to join the wow straight to the third because it's two sukuns, right? So أو الثانية. Again, يرجع في الساعة 1:30 أو الثانية. زكريا أيذهب إلى المصنع مرة أخرى؟ أيذهب إلى المصنع مرة أخرى بعد الظهر؟ One more time. أيذهب إلى المصنع مرة أخرى بعد الظهر؟ موسى لا يذهب بعد الظهر. لا يذهب بعد الظهر. يجلس هنا. يجلس هنا في مكتبه. في مكتبه بعد صلاة العصر. لا يذهب بعد الظهر. يجلس هنا في مكتبه بعد صلاة العصر. زكريا كم عاملا عمل كم عاملا يعمل في مصنعكم؟ كم عاملا يعمل في مصنعكم؟ One more time. كم عاملا يعمل في مصنعكم؟ موسى مصنعنا ليس بكبير. مصنع مصنعنا ليس بكبير. يعمل فيه 125 عاملا ومهندسان. Again. مصنعنا ليس بكبير. يعمل فيه 125 عاملا ومهندسان. زكريا الساعة الآن 9 إلا ربعا. Again. الساعة الآن 9 إلا ربعا. وما رجع أبوك؟ موسى لعله يرجع اليوم متأخرا. لعله يرجع اليوم متأخرا. Right, so we're going to start over and go through it piece by piece. All right. Any questions before we go into it? All right. So if there are no questions, we're going to go through the lesson. الدرس العاشر, 10th lesson. ذهب زكريا. So in this lesson, we are going to be introduced, before we go into it piece by piece, just a quick overview. We are going to be introduced, or the lesson rather introduces the present tense form of the verb. Okay, so far we have been doing the past tense form of the verb. Al-Madi. Al-Madi means the past tense. Okay, now we're going to do the Mudari'. Mudari' is the present tense. Okay, so we've been doing the past tense like Dahaba, Dahabat, Dahabta, Dahabti, right? Dahabu, Dahabna, Dahabtum, and so on. Past tense, right? Now we're going to look at the present tense or the Mudari'. It starts off, however, with a past tense verb, Dahaba, right? So Dahaba means he went, masculine singular, third person. He went. Who went? Who is the doer of the verb? Zakaria. Zakaria, right? Where did he go? لزيارة حامد. To visit Hamid. So he went to visit. So the word ziyara with a ta marbuta at the end means a visit. Right? So li, it means for li ziyarati Hamidin, to visit Hamid. Ba'da Salat al-Fajr, after Salat al-Fajr. So Ba'da is يظرف zaman, right? Time, after a particular time. So Ba'da means after, right? So Ba'da Salat al-Fajr, after Salat al-Fajr. Okay? Now, how does it operate? It operates like mudaf ilayh, all right? So that is why you have the salah has the kasra below it. Ba'da salati, not ba'da salatu or ba'da salata, but rather ba'da salati, after salah, okay? After salatul fajr. Good. Next part of the sentence, walakinnahu, but he, right? So the word lakinna, of course, we know wow means and, all right? And lakinna, but who? But he, right? And he, or right, so walakinna also means but, right? Or except. So you say, but he, the who at the end here means he, meaning who? Zakaria. But he, ma wajadahu, but he did not find him. Who did he not find? Hamid. He went to visit Hamid. He didn't find him. Ma wajadahu. He did not find him. Fil baiti, at home. Right? Fil baiti literally means in the house. But in English we say at home. Right? He did not find him at home. فقال لابنه. So he said, لابنه, to his son. Whose son? Hamid's son. So he said to Hamid's son, all right? And what's Hamid's son's name? Musa. So he said to Hamid's son, Musa, Aina abuka. Aina means where. Abu, father, and ka means your. Okay? So where is your father? Aina abuka. All right? Then Musa replied, Dhahaba ila suqi. He went to the souk. What is the souk? The marketplace. All right. Zakaria continued to ask him, أين يذهب إلى السوق كل يوم? Somebody had a question?
Yeah. The second line, li ibnihi. You said that means li and ibnihi, his son or ibn. Okay, I follow it. Sorry.
Sorry?
No, I didn't recognize the word ibn. So.
His son, yeah. So the la means two. So qala li means he said two. All right. And the ibn here is his son. All right. Now be careful. I forgot to mention this, is the word ibn. The word ibn begins with hamzatul wasl. Hamzatul wasl. Okay. And in this case, you see the aleph there. So that lam aleph, the lam is for the pronoun, the particle, the preposition to, right? He said to, and kasra is for the lam. And then you're going straight to the ba, lib, because the hamzatul wasl becomes what? It becomes silent. So you say libnihi, to his son. Okay. فقال لابنه Musa. He said to his son Musa. Right, so we have Zakaria asking again, ayadhabu. So here we are seeing the present tense form of the verb. All right, we will look at that a little bit later on in the exercises, but just pointing it out here. All right, first of all, you have the hamza on the aleph, which is to ask a question as we are accustomed with. Okay? Let's ask a question. يذهب. ذهب يذهب. All right, so we will see, inshallah, when you get to the exercises, how this is made up, how the present tense verb is made up. We will have gone through this, many moons ago, right? In our live face-to-face classes, where we would have gone through all the past tense verb, present tense verb, and the command form of the verb, right? So, those who were there from the beginning, you might have those notes. At any rate, we're going to go through it again here in practice, and then we're going to see gradually, the different forms of the present tense verb. So this one is masculine singular, third person, right? ذهب, he went. يذهب, he is going, or he goes, present tense, right? So أيذهب إلى السوق, does he go to the marketplace? كل يوم, every day. كل means every, right? And يوم, of course, is day. So كل يوم means every day. Right? So does he go to the marketplace every day? Musa replies, نعم يذهب دائما إلى السوق بعد صلاة الفجر. So his son replied, yes, he goes. يذهب, he goes, present tense, right? دائما, دائما means all the time, or regularly, or not frequently. It means like all the time, or consistently, right? نعم يذهب دائما, yes, he goes frequently or all the time. إلى السوق, to the market. بعد صلاة الفجر, after صلاة الفجر. All right? So Zakaria asks again, متى يرجع من السوق? When does he return from the market? So again, you have the word رجع, which means to return. رجع بمعنى عاد, or to return, or to come back. So رجع يرجع. Don't feel overwhelmed if we don't know how we come up with this. Why this vowel change to this? We're going to go through that, inshallah. Right? Just follow along with the lesson, and inshallah we will look at the structure of the present tense verb, why ya is added in some cases and not in other cases, right? So we'll go through that, inshallah. So here we have the word. Yes.
The word mata. Can you explain the construction? Right.
Mata, it means when, right? Like in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that that somebody, this particular prophet and some of the believers with him, they said Mata Nasrullah. Right? This is different from Mata. Mata means like it's like provisions, right? So this is not the ayn, this is Mata. Mata yarji'u. When means when, right? So it's ready to ask a question. It's a what they call a harf istifham, right? Harf istifham, or one of those interrogative particles to ask a question, right? Mata yarji'u. When does he return? Min as-suqi, from the marketplace. Next line, Musa is saying, Yarji'u, he returns, fi sa'ati sabi'ati. He returns at 7 o'clock. Okay? We said as-sa'a means hour, all right? Or in English, we would say o'clock, all right, of the clock, right? And when we are using time in Fusha, Fusha is the standard Arabic or the classical Arabic, and even in modern standard Arabic, we would use the ordinal numbers to quote the time, whereas in colloquial or slang, they just use the order the cardinal numbers or the numbers are by themselves. So instead of saying sabi'ah, they will say sab'a. That's colloquial, right? But you're learning Fusha here, which is the standard classical Arabic, and is also used in the standard modern Arabic, right? So you see in here, Musa is saying yarji'u fi sa'ati sabi'ati, that he returns at 7 o'clock. وأحيانا, and sometimes في الساعة الثامنة, and sometimes at 8 o'clock. All right. So again, we see another present tense form of the verb. رجع يرجع. رجع يرجع. So Zakaria continues to ask, ماذا يفعل في البيت? What does he do at home? ماذا means what. Okay. يفعل. So يفعل, which means to do. يفعل. فعل يفعل. What does he do? في البيت. What does he do at home? So Musa responds, يقرأ الصحف, that he reads the papers. الصحف is the papers, and newspapers. All right. So you have the verb قرأ, قاف, را, and hamza, قرأ, and that's the past tense. Then you have the present tense, يقرأ, يقرأ. I want you all to notice the pattern as you go through it. Notice the pattern. All of them so far is third person, masculine, singular. Okay? Third person, masculine, singular. And for the third person, masculine, singular, we see they have added a ya at the beginning. A ya at the beginning with a fatha, right? Yeah. And then not only that, but they put a sukun on the first of the root letters in the verb. The root letters being, in this case, qara'a. So you put the sukun on the first root letter, which is the qaf. So you get yaq, yaq, ra'u, yaqra'u. Right? So qara'a, yaqra'u. So what does he do at home? Yaqra'u suhufa. He reads the papers. Notice here, you have this word, as-suhufa. It is maf'ul bihi, it is the object of the sentence. And because it's the object of the sentence, it will be in the case of nasb, or the accusative case. All right, in this case, the sign of it being nasb would be the fatha on the fa. Fatha on the fa. So it's as-suhufa. So yaqra'u as-suhufa. What does he do again? وَيَسْمَعُ الْأَخْبَارَ. Again, أخبار is the news. مفعول به. Mansub, fatha ra. All right. وَيَسْمَعُ, and he listens. So the first part, يَقْرَأُ الصُّحُفَ, he reads the papers. وَيَسْمَعُ الْأَخْبَارَ, and he listens to the news. مِنَ الْإِذَاعَةِ, from the broadcast or from the station. Zakaria says, متى يذهب إلى المصنع? When does he go to the factory? When does he go to the factory? متى يذهب. Again, you have ذهب, يذهب. ذهب is past tense. يذهب is present tense. Okay. When does he go to the factory? So Musa says, يذهب في الساعة التاسعة ونصف. He goes at 9:30, or he goes at 9:30, right? So as-sa'atu, it means the time or the clock. right? Or the hour at-tasi'ati, 9 o'clock, one nisfi, and half. So at 9 and a half, right? Which in English we say 9:30 or 9:30. Zakaria asks again, وَمَتَى يَرْجِعُ مِنْ هُنَاكَ? And when does he return from there? So far we have seen present tense verbs for about 4 different verbs, right? So you have ذهب يذهب, right? Then you have فعل يفعل, then you have رجع يرجع, and then you have قرأ يقرأ, right? These 4 so far, right? We'll look at them again in a little while, all right? So again, Zakaria asks, وَمَتَى يَرْجِعُ مِنْ هُنَاكَ? And when does he return from there? So the word hunaka means over there or there, all right? And when does he return from there? Musa replies, يَرْجِعُ فِي السَّاعَةِ الْوَاحِدَةِ وَالنِّصْفِ. He returns at 1:30 or 1:30. أو الثانية or 2 o'clock. So he returns when? At 1:30 or 2 o'clock. Okay. Zakaria asks again, أيذهب إلى المصنع مرة أخرى بعد الظهر? Does he go back to or does he go to the factory مرة أخرى, another time after Dhuhr? Right, so does he go back again or does he go another time after Dhuhr? So the word marratan ukhra means another time. Marra means time or like an iteration. Not time as in clock, but how much iteration or something you do, right? So ukhra means another, right? So marratan ukhra means another time or another iteration. Okay. So does he go back to the factory another time after Dhuhr? So Musa responds and he says, so we're at the top of page 70, top of page 70. Musa responds and says, لا يذهب بعد الظهر. No, he does not go after Dhuhr. يجلس هنا. He sits here. So jalasa means to sit. So jalasa means he sat. Yajlisu, he sits. He sits. So if you say somebody yajlisu, it could literally mean he sits. He actually is sitting, or it can mean staying. So you say jalastu, right? Jalastu fi Trinidad sanatain. I stayed in Trinidad for 2 years. All right, so it doesn't mean you literally sit down for 2 years, but it just means you stay there for 2 years. So yajlisu could mean he sit literally, or it could mean he stay here. So this is again present tense form of the verb jalasa. So jalasa means he sat, yajlisu he sits or he stays, right? So huna means here. So huna is the opposite of hunaka. Hunaka is there. Huna is here, all right? So yajlisu huna, he stays here. Fi maktabihi, in his office. Ba'da salat al-asri, after salat al-asr. So be careful here. You have the word maktab. Maktabun means a desk. It also means an office. It can mean a what? An office, right? So he stays here in his office after Salat al-Asr. So maktab is office and maktabihi, his office. Okay? Maktabuka, your office. Maktabukum, your plural office. Right? Maktabihi or maktabuhu, depending on the case, his office. Right? Then Zakaria asks again, Kam amilan ya'malu fi masna'ikum. how many workers work in your factory? So the word masna'un means factory. Okay, so masna'ikum here fi masna'ikum, in your plural factory. Okay, in your factory. Kam amilan, how many workers? Remember the word kam and how we use it. Okay, we met that a while back. Kam means how much, right? And whenever we say the word kam and we asking how much, the word after it has to be singular and indefinite and in the accusative case. All right, so in English we would say how many workers, plural, but in Arabic we say kam amilan, how many worker, right? But the meaning of it is in English how many workers, okay? But in Arabic we use the singular. We say kam amilan ya'malu fi masna'ikum. Kam amilan ya'malu fi masna'ikum. How many workers work in your factory? So Musa responds, Masna'una laysa bikabirin. Our factory is not big. Our factory is not big. Ya'malu fihi, that there works in it, mi'atun wa khamsatun wa ishruna amilan. So there works in it how many? 125 workers. Amilan. Notice here that the Ma'dud, the thing that is counted is the workers, but yet we are using the singular form of it, right? Remember, from 3 to 5 and from 3 to 10, we use plural. But from after that, we go back to singular, okay? So 125 worker. That's what we're literally saying here, but in English, we would say workers, all right? So 125 workers, wa muhandisani, and 2 engineers. Then Zakaria asks again, الساعة الآن التاسعة إلا ربعا. The time now is 9 o'clock except a quarter, which means in English we'll say quarter to 9. So the time is what? Quarter to 9. وما رجع أبوك. Again we have the word ma here, which negates what comes after it. Remember we saw that at the beginning? So raja'a means to return. Ma raja'a means he did not return. Right? Abuka. Who didn't return? Abuka, your father. So Musa said, لعله, perhaps he يرجع اليوم. Perhaps he is returning today متأخرا, late. Perhaps he is returning late today. Right? Any questions on this? Then
The word sometimes. What part of speech is that?
something. Right. أحيانا is دائما أحيانا. I'll have to check that. I will check the part of speech. Because we have
Adverb. Adverb, Sheikh.
sorry, adverb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Jazakallah khair. All right, any other questions? Mhm. All right, so we're gonna go through some of the exercises here. All right, so as usual, the first one or two exercises will be comprehension questions. So we're gonna ask some of these here. أجب عن الأسئلة الآتية. Answer the following questions. First one. لزيارة من ذهب زكريا? To visit who did Zachariah go? First line of the passage. Everybody can answer that. Hamid, right? So somebody answered in the chat. That is Sajjad. Sajjad, was he? Yeah, Sajjad answered Hamid. Now, so ذهب زكريا لزيارة حامد. That Zakaria went to visit Hamid. Now, next one. متى يذهب? When did he go? متى يذهب? Sorry, متى ذهب? When did he go?
ذهب بعد صلاة الفجر.
نعم. زكريا قال زكريا ذهب زكريا بعد صلاة الفجر. نعم. Zakaria said that Zakaria went after Salat al-Fajr. Now, makes sense. أين يذهب حامل بعد صلاة الفجر? Where does Hamid go after Salat al-Fajr? Where does Hamid go after Salat al-Fajr? أين يذهب حامل بعد صلاة الفجر؟
إلى السوق.
نعم. يذهب حامل إلى السوق بعد صلاة الفجر. Hamid goes to the marketplace after Salat al-Fajr. متى يرجع من السوق? When does he return from the market?
يرجع الساعة.
نعم. يرجع في الساعة 7. نعم. 7 o'clock. وأحيانا 8. But he returns at 7 o'clock and sometimes at 8 o'clock. نعم. ماذا يفعل في البيت? What does he do at home? What does he do at home? ماذا يفعل في البيت؟
يقرأ الصحف ويسمع الأخبار.
يقرأ الصحف. He reads the papers. ويسمع الأخبار من الإذاعة. He reads the papers and listens to the news from the broadcast, from the station. متى يذهب إلى المصنع When does he go to the factory? All the answers are in the passage, eh? All of these answers are in the passage. And these questions are basically questions that Zakaria asked Musa. So just have a look at the questions Zakaria asked Musa and look at Musa's answer. Now, يذهب إلى المصنع في الساعة 9:10. 9:30. كم عاملا يعمل في المصنع؟ How many workers work in this factory? يعمل في المصنع 125. 125 عاملا workers. Last question in this section. كم مهندسا يعمل في مصنعه? Now, I want to notice something in these last two questions. This one I have highlighted here and the one just above, right? Numbers. رقم 7 و8. كم عاملا. Remember I said كم. The word after it has to be singular. It has to be accusative. And it has to be what? Indefinite. Indefinite meaning what? You have a tanween. Accusative meaning what? You will have fatha. So tanween fatha. And it has to be singular. Singular. Okay, not plural. These three things after the word kam. How much? Okay, so kam amilan. This one we have highlighted here. Kam muhandisan. So you might ask, why is there aleph after the scene? That aleph after the scene is the aleph that goes with what? Tanween fatha. Remember, tanween fatha comes with its own aleph. That's the only tanween that comes with an accessory, right? Its own aleph. Tanween fatha, except if it's a tanween fatha on a tar marbuta. It doesn't come with no aleph there, right? So this aleph indicates that there is a tanween fatha on the muhandis. Okay, so kam muhandisan ya'malu fi masna'ihi. How many engineers work in his factory? Anybody? It's in the passage.
Muhandisani.
Muhandisani, now, which is 2, right? So it's dual. Remember, once it's for the dual, all you do is the aleph and a noon with a kasra. Okay? Muhandisani, 2 engineers. Okay? So in the factory, there are 2 engineers working. Good. So we will stop here today, inshallah. Are there any last questions before we close off? Inshallah, next week we will go through some more of the exercises. All right. And we will, as we normally do, we will read over the passage again. We'll spend the first 5 minutes just reading over the passage, and then we'll go through some more of the exercises. All right. Next week, inshallah, we would look at some of the, or rather, look at the breaking down of the present tense verb. All right. So if there are no questions or announcements, we will close off now. ودعاء كفارة سورة العصر. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات تواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.